people refuse to get wisdom. You need to understand psychology. You need to understand how people think. The Bible teaches this. And then it also tells you that you need to get wisdom outside of the Bible, dude. You can translate that information to where they can understand it. You're a Christian. And you refuse to read the Quran. But they're like, okay, this guy's not just a Bible thumper. He knows. So many people want to make an impact in the world. So do I. But how do we actually do this? I have a short little story I want to share with you. It's a story that King Solomon shared. I'm going to read this to you. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, starting at verse 13, he says, I also saw under the sun this example of wisdom that greatly impressed me. There was once a small city with only a few people in it, and a powerful king came against it, surrounded it, and built a huge siege works against it. Now there lived in that city a poor man, but wise, and he saved the city by his wisdom. But nobody remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than strength. But the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are no longer heeded. It's so powerful. One wise man can make an impact in the world than 10,000 men that are passionate about what they believe in. Because there are so many people out there who believe in different things, whether it's in politics or whatever. Especially Christians. They're so passionate about what they believe in, but they have no wisdom. They have zeal. They got high energy. They want to make sure you know what they stand for and what they believe in every little instance. This is the reason why so many people avoid Christians, because Christians tend to be pushy with what they believe, but they're not wise about how they go about their belief. Most. But follow me. Here's another proverb from Solomon. Wealth attracts many friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend. How does that apply? But King Solomon is straight up telling you in the Holy Bible, he's showing you if you don't have wealth, people aren't going to take you seriously. If you are poor, even you could be wise. But if you're poor, people aren't going to hear you. They'll forget to thank you. So someone may be thinking right now, are you trying to justify that we should be wealthy? Okay. Here's something in the Bible. Jesus Christ himself said, use wealth to make friends. My question to you is this. How in the world are you going to use wealth to make friends if you don't have wealth? King Solomon said that poor man that saved that whole city was forgotten because he was poor. So he tells you wealth attracts many friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend. And Christ says, use your wealth to make friends. I rest my case. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's okay to make a joke. Follow me. So many people are zealous about what they believe, but they don't use wisdom to impact people's lives. They use their passion because they think that if they can use willpower, they can get people to change their mind. But think about it like this. Have you ever been in a situation where, I don't know, let's say it could be anybody in a position of authority, whether it's a police officer or a doctor or just a man walking down the street in a suit. For some reason, you take that person more seriously than someone who's homeless on the side of the street. Imagine a homeless person trying to give you wisdom. You're probably not going to take their advice. You're probably going to sit there like, dude, you're poor, bro. Like, why are you trying to give me advice on life? Why are you trying to give me advice on my finances or marriage or whatever? You're sitting out here broke and homeless and poor and by yourself. How are you going to give wisdom? How are you going to give wisdom on how to save an entire country? The dude had the wisdom. He had the wisdom. And he saved the city with his wisdom. But he was poor, so no one took him seriously. Are you following me? What I'm telling you is this. If you truly, truly want to make an impact in the world, become a presentable person. Somebody, when people look at you at first glance, yes, people are prejudiced. They are prejudiced. They will prejudge just by looking at you. If you're just wearing a dirty t-shirt, they're going to assume, oh, okay, can't take you seriously. Even if you're the wisest man in the room. Simply by how you look. So this is a little wisdom tip for you. Become presentable. Look the part. Use the prejudice in a way. Like, use the prejudice. Like, they're going to assume that you're somebody based off how you look. So why don't you try to look the best? If people are going to assume things based off of how much money you have, why don't you have money? So many people want to make an impact in the world. But how do you actually do that? Now, I'm going to share a few things that hopefully will help you to understand actually how to make an impact in the world. And I'm not saying like impact every single person's life on planet Earth. Like, I'm saying like your own peers, your employees, your employer, your coworkers, your friends, your family. How do you impact people's lives? When you believe that you have a truth that could impact them, how do you get people to listen to you and take you seriously? King and Jesus Christ even said to use worldly wealth, use worldly possessions to make friends. So many people are zealous. They have passion. You know, maybe you've heard some people debate about politics, and people are passionate, and they lose friends because of that. Now, I bring this all up because it's like the Bible is straight up telling you how to impact people's lives. Well, first off, you got to have wisdom. Second of all, if you don't have wisdom, you're not going to impact people's lives at all. King Solomon says, he who can win someone's soul over is wise. How do you win someone's soul over? Okay, let's break that down. What does soul mean? Soul means mind. It's talking about the mind. So don't get confused by that. King Solomon is straight up telling you, he who can win someone's mind over is a wise person. If you can cause someone to change their mind and to believe something else, you're wise. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Because so many people are confused on how to actually impact people's lives, their friends and their peers. And they're zealous. They're telling them about Jesus all the time, especially Christians. They're telling them about Jesus, you need Jesus, you need the blood, you need the blood. But they refuse to turn that person into a friend first. Because they think, I cannot leave this conversation unless I mention something about Jesus. What if you just make friends first? What if the Bible teaches that you will impact people's lives through the friendships that you have? The people who hated Jesus was religious people. But the people who loved Jesus were the sinners. It says that he was a friend of the sinners. A friend? That's deep. Now that's deep. Apostle Paul says, I become all things to all people. To the weak, I become weak. You know, to the Jew, you become a Jew or a Gentile. He becomes all things to all people. Whoever he's communicating to, he tries to relate to them. A lot of Christians don't do this. They just want to impose their beliefs on people immediately. Cause them to try to believe what they believe, rather than make a friend out of them first and be respectful. This is wisdom, and this can apply to so many different areas of your life, not just in trying to share the quote-unquote the gospel to people, and trying to preach to people. This can impact people in your workplace. Or if you have an overweight friend and you're trying to help them to lose weight, but they seem like they're not they have no desire to lose weight and they have bad health. You can impact people's lives by being a friend to them first and showing them with wisdom, look, you got to lose weight, man. This can go into so many different areas. Your children, if you have children. Obviously, your children aren't necessarily your friends, but your children can be your friends. A lot of people just have kids just for the sake of having kids, but they have no actual real relationship with their children where their children feel like they can trust them and actually tell them, look, I'm dealing with this, mom or dad, or this is what's going on in my life. I'm struggling with this or that. A lot of children, or teenagers don't trust their parents because their parents are just going to go off because they're zealous and passionate about what they believe, and the parents want to impose what they believe on their children and tell them, look, you did this wrong, you need to get this right. You know, even when I was a kid, my I'm not going to say who, but someone in my family was trying to impose their political views on me. And I wanted nothing to do with that person at the time. So I bring this all up because if you truly, truly, truly want to make an impact in the world, you have to make friends. And the Bible tells you how to make friends. It tells you how to impact people's lives. But people refused. People refuse to get wisdom. You need to understand psychology. You need to understand how people think. The Bible teaches this. And then it also tells you that you need to get wisdom outside of the Bible, dude. People refuse to do this. One day, a friend of mine was like, he didn't like that I was willing to read books that were outside of the Bible. Because, and I understand. I understand the thinking. I used to think that way. A lot of people think, no, all you need is the Bible. The Bible is the only source that you need. How was it that Apostle Paul knew other people's religions and their poets and their philosophers better than they knew it? He had to have read some material outside of the Bible in order to understand what other people believed. You're a Christian and you refuse to read the Quran because you think that, oh man, if I touch that book or something bad's going to happen. No, dude. Read it. I've looked at the Book of Mormon. I'm not even a Mormon. I've looked at the Book of Mormon. I've looked at the Jehovah's Witness Bible, the New World Translation. Dude, I study Greek philosophy. It's good stuff, man. And you'll see, look, they have principles that are true. Maybe what they believe is not entirely true, but you could find little principles like, oh, okay, I see that in the Bible. And you can see how you can translate that information to where they can understand it, to where they know, they're like, oh, okay, this guy's not just a Bible thumper. He knows more than what I think he knows. He's not just like some Christian pastor or something. And this is how people feel about me when I talk to them. Because they're like, man, this guy's so knowledgeable. I don't look at myself like a knowledgeable person. I don't even look at myself as a wise man. I mean, I know I have some wisdom. God's given me wisdom and knowledge and stuff like that. I know that, and I'm blessed, and I'm thankful for that. But I don't look at myself like, oh, man, I'm wise. I'm King Solomon, But the wisdom that God has allowed me to have and has allowed me to come across, I use it to the best of my advantage to not only further and impact my own life and grow my own life, but to help other people. But I keep saying this, people refuse to get wisdom. And I say that Christians demonize wisdom. They demonize knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. It's the beginning of wisdom. But people think only biblical knowledge or only biblical wisdom. No. Wisdom is a skill, and a lot of Christians know that wisdom is knowledge applied. It's the application of knowledge. But no, the Bible even teaches wisdom is not just biblical information. Wisdom can be simply in cutting a tree, and King Solomon put it like this. If you have a dull axe, it's going to be hard to cut the tree down. But if you sharpen the axe, that's wisdom. With a few strokes, you can cut the tree down. I want to share that with you. I hope that impacts your life. God bless, and I hope you're willing to go and get knowledge and information. Subscribe.